Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with On Point Politics, and today I'm going to be talking about the mayoral race with Manny Cid, the incumbent mayor of Miami Lakes, against Daniella Levine-Cava, the incumbent mayor of Miami-Dade County. As of right now, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. And so Dark Horse Strategies just put out a poll where Manny Cid is trailing the incumbent mayor, which is a Democrat. He is the major Republican candidate, and we have Alex Otoaola, which is another MAGA anti-communist, Cuban type Republican that's also running in the race with a few other minor candidates. Alex Otoaola does have a very big social media presence. However, a lot of his voters cannot necessarily vote, mainly because they do not have, legal standing in the country. A lot of his followers on Instagram are people outside of the country in Cuba, so that is not going to reflect on election day. Right now, Daniella Levine-Cava and Manny Cid are basically essentially the major frontrunners for the race. Many undecideds left in this poll. This pollster is a conservative leaning pollster, so it could be skewed a little bit to the right, but I feel like this is a fairly accurate assessment considering that it is still early in the race. This poll was from about May or so, and so we're going to be seeing how this develops into August, because that is when the election is. I believe it's August 24th. As of right now, we see that there's a bond proposal proposed by the incumbent mayor. It is very unpopular. Even with a lot of Democrats, it's somewhat pretty unpopular, and it's not necessarily that strongly approved of by Democrats, and independents also find it extremely unpopular as well. So she is not looking great as of right now when it comes to running for a re-election bid. She is a very establishment candidate, very friendly with incumbent President Joe Biden. And that's an issue for her, because right now my forecast has Donald Trump winning the national popular vote by 6.2%, which not a lot of people are predicting this. A lot of people still think it's going to be a close race, on the national level. But I have Donald Trump winning the election very easily. He wins the popular vote by 6.2. Kennedy gets around 8%. Westenstein combined for about 3. And Hispanic voters, Biden would probably only win them by 10 nationwide. And so we see here in my final forecast as of right now, Trump is winning Florida by 16 points. That would be much larger than his previous victory in the state. And we see my election forecast has Donald Trump at 345 electoral college votes to Joe Biden's 193. And we see that's going to be a problem for the incumbent mayor of Miami-Dade, because a lot of the big population centers are actually trending to the right, especially Miami-Dade. We see Biden only won it by 7.4 percentage points back in 2020. Hillary was able to win that by around 30 points. So that is around a 20-something point shift in favor of Donald Trump in this county. And I expect Donald Trump to flip this by about 8 to 12 points. If he's really winning the state by around 16, he's going to be flipping this very easily. And that's going to give a boost to Manny Cid if he makes it to the runoff on November 5th. And so if we look at the data, we see that, Daniella Levine-Cava, it is a mayorship race, so it is a little bit different. And on top of that, we do also see that, she is very much outraising Manny Cid as of right now. But that's fine, because he doesn't necessarily need to be outspent, kind of, by a lot. If he gets outspent like 20 to 1, of course that'd be a problem, but he could be within reasonable range and still be able to pull out the race. As of right now, I think she probably pulls it out by about 5 to 8 points on August day. I think that would probably be the result. However, I don't think she's going to get above 50%. I think she'll be in the low 40s. Manny Cid will probably be around the 30s. I expect Otaola to probably get around 10% of the vote, maybe a little bit more than that. He does have a big base. However, I don't really see him making it over. There's a lot of independent voters that are really not going for him at all. He's mostly doing fine with some of that strong Republican base, but that's not going to be enough, especially in a place where Miami-Dade, where there is a pretty even composition, for the electorate, 35% Democrat, 31% Republican, and 34% no party and third party composition. So, if Otaola is only doing well with hardcore Republicans, that's not going to really fare out well for him. I do think he's going to perform better than this pollster. However, I don't think he's going to even touch 15%. And for those people who say, well, oh, she was actually leading a poll with above 50%, back in August, this is a very old poll. This is before, I believe, he probably even announced. Maybe he announced by then, but it's a very early pollster. And the problem with this pollster is their sample for the county was Biden plus 11. And we see that Biden, when he had a plus 6 national approval rating and won the popular vote by 4 and everything went right for him, he only won the county by 7 when everything went right for him in 2020, and he was able to win the election with 306 electoral college votes. So, how is it makes no sense to have the sample of Biden plus 11, if he won it by only 7 and his approval rating has tanked 22 points since election day. That would make absolutely no sense. At this point, a regular sample should be a Republican leaning sample, and that's probably what this conservative polling firm factored in. And even when you average out all the polls, even though that poll is too old already, even if you were to average it out, she would not even be above 50% as of right now. And so right now she is in trouble. Daniella Levine-Cava is definitely in trouble. Manny Cid is making ground. He's going out there talking to voters about issues that matter. Association prices are rising. Garbage fees are rising for absolutely no reason. We see him go out there and talk to voters, individually in groups at restaurants. Meanwhile, she is just doing fundraising events with her little private donors, and it's going to give a very establishmentarian type of vibe. And being tied to Joe Biden is really not going to help her, even with some, basically ancestral Hispanic Democrats. That's really going to affect her results as well. If they do make it to election day, which I think they are, I think Manny Cid probably pulls it out by around, 8 to 15 points. I think he'd actually win fairly easily. He's always outperformed all his elections. When he ran for Miami Lakes mayorship, he was expected to lose. He ended up winning with around 77% of the vote, and he actually ran unopposed for his re-election bid in Miami Lakes the second time. And everything that he's talking about, he's done in Miami Lakes. He wants to cut taxes. He was able to do that for the whole city. Everything that he's done in Miami Lakes that he says he's going to do for the county, he's already done those things. So he has a track record of good economic, standing, in most places. Obviously inflation is affecting everybody nationwide, but Miami Lakes definitely is one of the better places to be in a time like this. Meanwhile, she is going out there saying, "Oh, we need a bond proposal, $2.5 billion for affordable housing, park enhancements, land conservation, infrastructure upgrades." But it's very unpopular with voters because they see through the smoke and mirrors. They see what's going on, you know. And so more than likely, we are going to see, Manny Cid be able to pull this race out. It's still a long ways out. I will be updating this as we keep going. And that is essentially it for this video. If you guys did enjoy this, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. If you guys have any thoughts on this, please comment down below. I believe it is a very important race for Manny to win, because if he's able to win the mayorship here, it's definitely going to take a turn, in the state. Yes, the mayor of Miami, the city, was Republican, but he was more of kind of a rhino-ish type Republican. If Manny Cid gets in there, I definitely think he is going to make a very big difference for the county, and it's definitely going to cement it for Republicans in the future, which could cement Florida as a safe Republican state going forward, and would help the population of Miami-Dade not stagnate or decline. We see a lot of people moving, from that state, at least from that county, up to places like Ocala, Orlando, Pittsburgh, etc. Back up in Pennsylvania. We see a lot of people from Miami-Dade essentially moving out and going to these places up north, even going to places like upwards in Florida. So that is a major concern for the county. However, that is it, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this, and that is pretty much it. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.